There's a satisfactory image that was released on Monday night. Not by the Pentagon, not by the State Department, not by any American military institution, but by Iranian state media. The image shows a crater where there used to be a radar installation, twisted metal where there used to be antenna arrays, smoke rising from what was 72 hours ago, one of the most advanced missile defense systems ever constructed by human beings. The system cost $1.1 billion. The drone that destroyed it cost $20,000. And the strategic implications of that cost ratio are so devastating to American military planning that no one in Washington wants to talk about it. Because if they talk about it, they have to answer a question that the entire American defense establishment has spent 40 years avoiding. What happens when the shield breaks? The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps announced on Tuesday that it has destroyed a second American missile defense system in the Gulf region. The first radar was eliminated in the UAE at Al Ray. The second was struck at a military installation in the same country. But the crown jewel of American missile defense in the Middle East, the system that was supposed to be untouchable, the system that justifies hundreds of billions of dollars in defense contracts and military deployments, was the ANFPS-132 early warning radar stationed in Qatar. That radar had a detection range of 5,000 kilometers. It could track ballistic missiles from the moment they launched anywhere in Iran and provide targeting data to every American and allied defense system in the region. It was the eyes of the entire Gulf defense architecture. And according to Iranian military officials, it was destroyed by a single Sheikh drone that cost less than a new car. The IRGC statement claimed that precision strikes dismantled key radar and tracking components of the architecture across multiple Gulf states, including systems in the UAE and radars tied to U.S. bases in Bahrain and Qatar. The Pentagon has not confirmed the destruction. The Pentagon has not denied the destruction. The Pentagon has issued no statement whatsoever about the status of its most critical missile defense assets in the Middle East. And that silence tells you everything you need to know about whether the Iranian claims are accurate. Here's the number that explains why this matters more than any other development in this war. There are 9 active THAAD batteries in the entire world. 9, not 900, not 99 complete systems, each consisting of 95 soldiers, 6 truck-mounted launchers, 48 interceptors, 1 radar system, and a fire control component. The United States military, the most expensive fighting force in human history, has 9 of these systems to defend against ballistic missile threats across the entire planet. And according to Iranian claims that the Pentagon refuses to address, 2 of them are now destroyed, their radar components reduced to craters in the desert. The math gets worse when you look at the interceptors themselves. Each THAAD interceptor costs $12.77 million. A THAAD battery carries 48 interceptors, which means the ammunition alone for a single battery costs over $600 million. During the 12-day war between Israel and Iran in June 2025, the United States fired more than 150 THAAD interceptors defending against Iranian missiles. That single engagement consumed approximately 25% of America's entire global THAAD interceptor stockpile. 1/4 of all the interceptors America had anywhere in the world gone in 12 days. And Lockheed Martin, the manufacturer of these systems, produces only 96 interceptors per year under current production capacity. Secretary of State Marco Rubio stood before Congress on Monday and said words that should terrify every American who understands what they mean. He said Iran is producing, by some estimates, over 100 ballistic missiles per month. Compare that to the 96 THAAD interceptors America produces per year. Iran builds more missiles in 30 days than America builds interceptors in 365 days. That is not a gap that closes with time. That is a gap that widens every single month if war continues. Rubio admitted this on national television. He said, and I am quoting directly, they are producing, by some estimates, over 100 of these missiles a month. Compare that to the 6 or 7 interceptors that can be produced against 100 missiles. The Secretary of State just told Congress that America is losing the production war by a factor of 15 to 1. And nobody in the room seemed to understand what that means for the sustainability of American military operations in the Middle East. Lockheed Martin announced in January that it will quadruple the AD production over the next 7 years, eventually reaching 400 interceptors per year. 7 years. The war has been going on for 5 days. Iran has already demonstrated the capability to destroy the radar systems that make the AD functional. And America's plan is to fix the production problem in 7 years, while Iran produces 200 missiles in the same time frame. The 20-year life cycle cost for a complete DAD battery ranges from $2 to $3 billion, including operations, sustainment, and interceptors. Replenishment for a complete D8 battery costs $3 billion per battery, 9 batteries worldwide. And Iran just demonstrated that a $20,000 drone can render that multi-billion-dollar investment into a smoking crater. This is the asymmetric warfare calculation that American defense planners have been dreading for decades. It is not about whether American systems are technologically superior. They are technologically superior. THAAD intercepts ballistic missiles during their final descent using a hit-to-kill method, smashing into incoming warheads at extreme speeds with a precision that no other country on Earth can match. The technology is extraordinary. The technology is irrelevant if you run out of interceptors before your enemy runs out of missiles. Defense analysts tracking the conflict have issued warnings that interceptor stocks across the U.S., Israel, and Gulf states are now dangerously low. The term they are using is strategic breaking point. Not concerning levels, not reduced capacity, strategic breaking point. The point at which the defensive architecture that has protected American interests in the Middle East for 3 decades simply ceases to function because there is nothing left to fire. U.S. officials fear that missile interceptor shortages could force a premature end to the war with Iran. That assessment, published by defense analysts on Monday, describes the strategic reality that the Pentagon cannot publicly acknowledge. America may be forced to stop fighting not because Iran defeats American forces in combat, but because America runs out of the defensive systems required to protect its forces and allies from Iranian retaliation. Consider what Iran has accomplished in 5 days of retaliation. Iranian missiles and drones have struck American military facilities in Bahrain, Iraq, Jordan, Kuwait, and Saudi Arabia. Iranian strikes have hit the U.S. Embassy compound in Riyadh. Iranian attacks have forced the closure of American diplomatic facilities in 2 Gulf countries. Iranian weapons have killed 6 American service members in a fortified command center in Kuwait. And Iranian precision strikes have, according to IRGC claims, destroyed multiple components of the most advanced missile defense architecture America has ever deployed. The production numbers tell the story of what happens next. Iran produces 100 missiles per month. America produces 96 THAAD interceptors per year. Iran can sustain this pace of operations indefinitely. America cannot.